Psychedelic. Super psychedelic. Out of psychedelic. Out of group psychedelic.
You became better.
Yeah.
How are you? Pleased to meet you. Good to see you.
We saw you guys.
Yes, what's that?
Hey, we saw you guys last night.
At the scene. We saw him at the scene. Fantastic. Incredible.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you
He was
very
very,
much.
he was very loud. He was very loud.
Can't tell you your name.
Summertime.
Yeah?
That was out of sight.
Yeah,
Really,
this is Davy
That
Jones.
was really great, yeah.
Mickey
Yeah.
Dolenz. Davy Jones.
Monkees.
Mickey Dolenz.
Monkees, yes.
Who's joking the
Yeah.
most in the pictures?
Who's talking?
No, joking.
Joking.
the most?
Yeah, in Holland we see some
the biggest joker? I don't know.
joking pictures of you.
I joke sometimes, but Mickey jokes a lot of the time. He's more of the joker. Yeah.
I'm the
Okay.
clown.
Like
this, huh? Clown.
Yeah, joking and funny faces and things like that.
Right.
Apart from that,
And I want to know
What are you doing
why
in New York?
these guys get all the girls.
what are we doing in New York?
Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson show, and also we came to see our friends here from Holland, and we enjoyed them very much.
Yeah.
We enjoy them a lot.
Very good.
Yeah.
How do you say very good?
Erg goed. Heel erg goed.
Erg goed.
Erg goed, Mickey.
Erg goed.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly. I'll come and watch, sing and play. We're the young generation, and we got something to say. Hey, we're the Monkees. You never know where we'll be found, so you better get ready. We may be coming to your town.
Peter. Hey, Peter.
What's happened to Peter?
Well, he's probably not back from his dream yet.
Possible, man. Peter doesn't dream.
And then I quit the Monkees in '68, late '68, and they went on without me. The three of them went on without me for, I guess, another year or most of another year. And I think Michael was pretty much in charge.
Well, I can see you come to the right place. I'm the lost and found man here.
Yes, I lost Peter Tork. Have you seen him?
You know, it's odd you should mention that. I was just looking for him myself.
Hey everybody, welcome to part 7 of my Monkees album deep dive series. Today I'm going to be talking about their 7th studio album, their first without Peter Tork, Instant Replay. This was released on February 19th, 1969, and came kind of at a period when the Monkees were adrift. Peter Tork had left the band at the end of 1968. They had just participated in the disastrous TV special 33 1/3 revolutions per monkey, which was just an abomination of a television spectacular, if you will. When the Monkees series was canceled, NBC decided that they would pick up 2 television programs for the Monkey, standalone television programs for the Monkey. The first being 33 1/3 revolutions per monkey. And it was such a disaster in the ratings. The production was just a mess. And the whole thing was a convoluted mess, not in a good way, the way Head was. This was entirely just a mess conceptually. The music on it was not that great. And at the end of the whole experience, Peter Tork picked up and walked away. I do actually have an album from that television special. This is obviously a bootleg, but Brian Auger was brought in. He was a keyboardist from the UK. I believe he had some involvement in the British invasion of the early 60s, but he was brought in. Julie Driscoll as a vocalist. It has the cheesiest feel of like the worst, most dated 1960s variety show style programming. It's a show where you sit there staring at the TV screen with your mouth agape, like does somebody deliberately make something this fucking terrible? Because this is no accident. This piece of shit makes Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park look like Guardians of the Galaxy by comparison. The TV quality of it is poor. The music is awful in spot. For the most part, it's awful. There's one or two okay tracks, but looking back at it now, it's just an embarrassment. And so the Monkees at this point were adrift. They didn't have any future TV projects because after that debacle, NBC said, we're not doing a second. The film had completely bombed, largely due to the lack of marketing behind the film. And so now the Monkees were just kind of wandering from whatever variety program would have them, the Johnny Cash show, the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour, Laugh In, any program that would have them on, they would participate in. They entered into an agreement to do commercials for Kool-Aid, and so those were popping up on television. The TV show was in reruns, so they hadn't completely disappeared from the television airwaves, but at this point in their career, at least creatively speaking, with Peter Tork gone, they now had more space as each individual Monkees to get more room for their material on future Monkee albums. And I think Mike Nesmith in particular was definitely looking forward to that. So as an album, I do enjoy this. I listen to it probably more than most people do. I think it's got a great selection of songs on here for the most part, which I will get into. You got some fantastic Mike Nesmith songs on here. Mickey was starting to blossom as a songwriter and starting to contribute more. Davy Jones. The tracks on here are hit or miss. There are some that I love. There are some that I hate. And hate is not strong enough a word, I suppose. But like I say, I will get into those tracks individually. But overall, this is not a bad album. You would think, you know, the Monkees being down on their luck, the TV series being over and done with, that these albums would kind of suffer. But you still had them working with some, you know, pretty decent songwriters. Their own songs that they were turning in were pretty good. So I would say this album is not as bad as we could have expected from the Monkees. So there are some retreads on here, which is interesting because the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees sessions yielded so many songs. Those recording sessions went on forever, and each Monkee was churning out a batch of his own songs, which they had. And if you've seen the Missing Links compilations, there are so many leftover tracks from the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees sessions from late 1967, early 1968, that they could have easily stuck on here. But I think the thinking from the record label was, we're going to pull some tracks from earlier in their career that maybe have more commercial potential. And I don't think it necessarily worked. I don't think this album did particularly well in the charts, even though today I can listen to it and find a lot of enjoyment out of it. So speaking of retreads, the first one is Through the Looking Glass, which I believe had been recorded as early as like late 1966 or early 1967. And it's like an Alice Through the Looking Glass lyrical theme to it.
You run for protection. I reach out to hold you, but it's just a reflection. Through the looking glass, you've been looking at your life through a mirror. It's time you started seeing things a little bit clearer. Then through the looking glass.
It's a pretty psychedelic, I guess, song. You've got some harpsichord at the beginning. There's some strings reminiscent of... This song has always reminded me a bit of Strawberry Fields Forever. I'm not comparing it in any way, but I've always enjoyed this as an album opener. I think it could have gone on any of their earlier albums and fit pretty well alongside the other tracks on those albums. But Through the Looking Glass, I think, is very fine. And I like the strings on it. I like Mickey's vocal. You know, it's a decent offering. That was a Tommy Boyce, Bobby Hart song. So they're going back after having no Tommy Boyce, Bobby Hart songs on the Head soundtrack. Now we're seeing some more Tommy and Bobby compositions here. The next song is Don't Listen to Linda, which is another Boyce and Hart composition. They had done an early version of this, I think for the first album, which has more of an early 60s feel to it. This is total schmaltz. Everything that I hate about Davy Jones tracks. It's got the cheesy strings on it. He sings it, he over emotes as he sings on it. I'm just not a fan of this song. I didn't care for the early version, and I don't particularly care for this one. Then we have a retread from the more of the Monkees sessions. I Won't Be the Same Without Her. It's definitely got that mid-60s feel to it. I shouldn't say they recorded it for the More of the Monkees album. They didn't really know what they were recording it for, but it was recorded around the time of the first two albums. But a great Mike Nesmith vocal. It's very similar in feel to You Just May Be the One, but I do like this one. Then we have Just a Game, which is a Mickey Dolenz composition. Very sparse instrumentation. This is pretty much just Mickey and a harpsichord. A cool little Mickey vocal. Mickey was no slouch when it came to writing lyrics. So it's kind of a cute little song experiment from Mickey.
There's a way for you and I, if you'll just stay. If you'll just stay to keep me hidden from the day and all its light that's covered up by night when you're away. When you're away, the image of your face is clear. It is clear across the room, and I am here against the wall, afraid that it is all just a game.
I actually enjoy it. You know, I think it's different from anything else we got here, anything else we got from Mickey even. So I don't mind this song. Then Me Without You, which is another Boyce and Hart composition. This is very similar in style to Cuddly Toy, the Harry Nilsson song, which they had covered for Pisces Aquarius. Davy Jones vocal, and that Tin Pan Alley style, that vaudevillian flavor that, you know, Davy Jones particularly was attracted to. But I enjoy it. I don't mind that it's that kind of a style. And so I'm going to give this one a pass. I do enjoy it. Then we have one of my favorite, all-time favorite Mike Nesmith compositions, Don't Wait for Me. A great, great country rocker, very mournful kind of tune. But this is Mike Nesmith at his songwriting best. I absolutely love this.
Don't wait for me, I'll be a long time coming, unless by then you have told me something that shows how much you care. I've done much more than as a man I should have. Why did you not do all you could have to show how much you care? Over and again I wondered, was I wrong? I keep thinking I maybe should have come along. But then there comes a time in every man's life when he must be strong, and my time's come. So if you're gone, then I guess I'll cry and hold to memories of what might have been. And when I finally leave, that will show how much I care. Over and again I wondered, was I wrong? I kept thinking that I maybe should have come along. But then there comes a time in every man's life when he must be strong, and my time's come. So if you're gone, then I guess I'll cry and hold to memories of what might have been. And when I finally leave, that will show how much I care.
Sounds like he used some Nashville session musicians on this song, but I totally love that one. And that closes out side 2. Side 1, we have one of the hardest rocking Davy Jones songs in the Monkees' entire catalog. In fact, it's got Neil Young, yes, that Neil Young, on guitar, lead guitar. You and I, this was a Bill Chadwick co-composition with Davy Jones, and Davy Jones already sees the writing on the wall. He knows that the Monkees' shelf life is limited, that now they're being seen as a bubblegum act, and we know that bubblegum acts do not stay around very long. And so he's already seeing into the future how the Monkees' popularity is going to continue to wane without the benefits of the TV series and the fact that their audience was generally very young and move on to the next thing very quickly. So I can appreciate that self-awareness that Davey had in these lyrics, and Neil Young just gives a blistering guitar solo. It's very cool. I can't believe that this is a Davy Jones song, but, you know, all is forgiven up to this point. Then we have another great Mike Nesmith song, While I Cry. This is more just a gentle acoustic ballad.
what you'd do if I ever stayed with you. They told me that you'd laugh while I cried. They told me what you'd say, that you'd turn and walk away and find another place to play while I cried.
Then we have what is essentially a recycled version of Last Train to Clarksville, another Boyce and Hart composition. There are so many Boyce and Hart songs on this album, but it's Teardrop City, uses the same template as Last Train to Clarksville, not quite as catchy. And this was one of the songs that they stuck on here, thinking that this would buoy the album in the charts. It's fine. I like it because I like Last Train to Clarksville. I do like this one, but it is what it is. Then we get into two just awful Davy Jones songs. And if you like them, I mean no offense, I promise you. But The Girl I Left Behind Me, from two of my least favorite songwriters of all time, Carol Bayer Sager and Neil Sedaka. A Marriage Made in Hell. A Man Without a Dream is actually a Goffin King song. How is that possible? And with a different arrangement, maybe I would at least listen to it or give it a chance, but it's awful. It's got the worst horns, like the dating game theme. Terrible, overproduced. Davy Jones singing in that cabaret style. Cannot take this song. Then we have another Mickey Dolenz composition, the very eccentric Shorty Blackwell, which is a very bizarre piece of music from Mickey Dolenz. It's almost like an opera. I compare this to the Soft Parade on the Doors' Soft Parade album, that it moves through different sections. It starts off with this timpani, and you're thinking something grand and majestic is coming. Then Mickey Dolenz comes in with his falsetto voice. It moves through different sections. I'm not a huge fan of this, although I do give him points for trying something very adventurous. And Mickey gets a chance to show off all of his different vocal styles, and he gets very animated with his voice at times. And there are parts that I really like to the song, and there are parts where I roll my eyes. But no question, it's definitely a songwriting accomplishment for him. But that is the Instant Replay album. So anyway, let me know what you think of that one. Definitely an interesting time for the Monkees as a band. Chime in on anything you want. Whatever, the comment section is yours. But what do you think of the Monkees as a trio? But anyway, hope you're doing well and take care.